Right then, welcome back to Iron Sports. Now, former Netball Jamaica president Marva Bernard is now the new president of the Americas Federation of Netball Associations, AFNA, following the elections which were held recently. She's joined on her slate by Mary Webb and Javan Edwards as vice presidents, while Bridget Adams and Jacinta Ballantyne are the secretaries and the secretary and treasurer, respectively. Mrs. Bernard, welcome to Iron Sports. I know you're no stranger here. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me,
Did the
Jeremy.
producer give you your treats? No? Not yet?
Just water.
Just water. Oh, Lord. No, but,
And I'm going to correct you, I didn't have a slate.
no, you didn't have a slate?
No, I didn't have a slate.
All right, well, we're going to discuss that.
No, we're not going to let some of those balls pass to the keeper, so let me just prepare you from
All right.
Anyway, we're going
promises to be a good one. First up, Mrs. Bernard, congratulations.
Thanks, Jeremy.
On your election. And off air, we were discussing having your first meeting with your executive. Tell us a little bit about that and your immediate objectives.
We had a first meeting with the outgoing board, and then we had our own board meeting. We have already set meeting dates. We will meet virtually on the first Saturday of every month. We've already had our first board meeting. We have agreed that we will be some very things that are easy to put in place. We will be setting up email addresses for the board. We won't be using our personal emails to transact the business. We have already set the date for the next AGM, which is going to be in Miami because the members have asked for it to be in Miami. We are looking at the first. Members haven't been told yet.
Right.
So we are looking to see the availability of a venue in the location that the members want, which is Miami. So it should be in about 9 months' time.
All right. Let's go back to the whole election process and before. How did you convince delegates to elect you as a new president? And in fact, your major support didn't come from Jamaica or Netball Jamaica, but in fact, the St. Martin Netball Association. Tell us a little bit about that.
St. Martin asked me to run, but St. Martin wasn't the only country that asked me to run. St. Martin nominated me.
Right.
And I was seconded by USA Netball.
Right.
But in working with the members over the last 4 years as their treasurer, I got to know them. I got to help some of them in terms of administration and governance. And quite a number of them asked me to run. I told them no before because I really wasn't interested in doing any more work for now of this magnitude.
Right.
But they wouldn't take no for an answer. I had no time to campaign because we were doing the regional high schools championship.
Right.
And that in itself was a success. And by the time the championship was finished, the AGM was upon us. So my campaigning, the time for my campaigning was really not there.
Right.
But I believe that relationships were established over the 4 years, and the work that me and my board did with Netball Jamaica, which is the leading country in the region, must have helped. And the championship being a success, we also made some money for AFNA, which is something which has not happened in an extremely long time by any of the championships. And I also took down for them a championship magazine and a DVD of the tournament, half-an-hour DVD of the tournament, showing them that they could use that to raise funds for the next championship, or even to raise funds for their association. So I guess that was my manifesto, the success and the track record of the team that worked with me to host the championship. So
let me ask you this, because before the elections, you didn't want to get into it. Were you surprised that not getting that support from Netball Jamaica?
A little at first, but then when I had spoken to the president before, I called her and told her that I had decided to throw my hat into the ring. She said she didn't have a problem with it, and I felt really good because that means she wasn't competing for the post. But then she said she would discuss it with her board. I also asked her if they could support a treasurer from Jamaica, which would make it somebody who had a good track record that the president knew also. And she said she would discuss it with her board, understandably. And then she came back after the board meeting to say they couldn't, because by this time she was able to tell me that the president from Grenada had asked her to run on her slate with her as second VP. So I guess my asking for support from Jamaica was late. I accepted it. Unfortunately, the treasurer
How
couldn't be
disappointing
support.
was that for you?
I didn't. It wasn't huge, to be honest with you, because I probably was naive to think that it was going to be such a huge thing that my country wasn't supporting me, because I think it happened in another sport before. But when you get to the presidency of a region, you are not country focused. No, you're dealing with the entire wide membership for the region. So the fact that Jamaica felt that Grenada would have made a better president than myself, honestly, there was a slight,
Do you think
but I
that,
didn't
that
have
was
any
the case,
time to.
or was it maybe because Netball Jamaica president was going up for a post, so she was more looking out for
Can I tell you
herself,
something?
numero uno?
Can I tell you something? At the time when I spoke with Paula, I was in the middle of trying to complete a championship.
Right.
It is what it is. It is what it was, and that is behind us now. She chose to accept an invitation to be second VP to Grenada. I chose to accept the invitation to run from enough regional members to give me a feeling that I could do this. And so when the championship was over, I got to Barbados.
So, all right, you said just now it's something that's done with. Is there a fractious relation between yourself and Netball Jamaica president or Netball Jamaica, or is it a case where it's water under the bridge and you're going
It's
forward?
water under the bridge. The president and her delegate felt certain reasons why I couldn't run, that my life membership may have precluded me from being a member and serving St. Martin. The membership voted. I was elected, I understand, handsomely by the members. And I've heard from the president since the election. She has told me that she knows I'm capable and that she will support. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all good. Netball will win, and we'll move on from here.
Now, in terms of netball and the region's status in netball on the court, Jamaica and Trinidad are ranked fairly highly. Jamaica number 4. How do you plan to bridge that gap in terms of bringing the other countries within the region up to speed with the likes of Jamaica and Trinidad, for instance?
I'm glad you asked that question, because competition is at the heart of sport. And if you're not competing, you're really having fun, recreation. And I know that the national teams are not out there to just have recreational fun playing netball. They want to improve their ranking. So one of the tasks that we have been charged with is to have more games being played in the region. And fortunately for me, where I have sat over a number of years, I have made some really great friends in the other regions. And I have been talking to them about coming to this neck of the woods, having a holiday, and playing some netball. I spoke with one president this morning, and he was very excited about the possibilities. So if we can get that going, there'll be more competition, and there'll be an opportunity for us to pick off some games, the other countries to pick off some games of those from outside the region. So that's one of the things that we have to do, play more games.
And let me ask you this, in terms of the pool of players you see, especially coming out of Jamaica, Jamaica ranked 3rd, 4th over the past 10, 15 years in world netball. How can we go further up the rankings and eventually get the better of the likes of New Zealand and Australia on a regular basis?
The mission.
Because I know it's a very tough job, but how can this be done?
One of the vision for Netball Jamaica, which I'm happy to be a part of designing and coming up with that vision, is to be number 1 in the world.
Right.
And with many of our players now being called up, still being called up, having been called up to play competitive netball in England, in New Zealand, and in Australia, that is where they are sharpening their skills. They've gotten really great basic skills from our coaches here. But because we don't have that competition all the time, that high-level competition all the time, they don't get to sharpen their skills. The same thing is happening with Trinidad and Tobago. Samantha Wallace is playing in Suncorp League. And Barbados hopefully will get some players down there. So the more they get exposed to high-quality, top-class netball, and of course, they have to get more matches.
Right. What of the grassroots level? You recently had the AFNA High School Championships. That is where it starts. How did that go?
It starts before that.
Yeah.
It does
before that,
start
for
before
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Years gone by, we had an under-14 program. Scotiabank sponsored that program and loved it. Out of that program came junior umpires, because we realized that the pool of umpires are aging. So we had a junior umpires program where little girls like me who couldn't make the cut to the under 16, I love to use myself as an example because it's a really good example, can remain in the game. So we asked them, what would you like to do? They wanted to be coaches, managers, and umpires was the easiest thing to put them in a program to. South Africa came here, saw the program, flew 3 of us down there to showcase and to tell them how we did it. So you have under 14. Move to under 16, they play in a Caribbean championship. So they are competing at a very early age. And you have young umpires learning and honing their craft. Then they move to what we had now, which is the high school, because nothing happens between under 16 and then they go to Netball World Youth Cup at under 21. Right. And one of the things that the tournament committee, which I was happy to lead, and out of that committee came this high school championship. We looked at our results as a region in the last Netball World Youth Cup. All of us went in higher, and we came out. And we thought that if we could give these kids competition between under 16 and under 21, then it will start to prepare them to think playing 15 minutes per quarter instead of 10 minutes, those little things.
All right, Mrs. Bernard, the shot clock is running out on us. In terms of the regional body that you know head, there are no Jamaicans on that executive. But how, well, yourself.
No, but when you remember when I said to you, when we get to that level, we are no longer supposed to be focusing only on our country. And I'm so happy that I do not have the responsibility of heading a national association. So I can think as broadly as possible, knowing what the needs of each of our constituents are. So I'm not perturbed by the fact that there are no Jamaicans or there are no Bajans or there are no Argentinians on the board.
But you know, you can't get away from that.
Well, I would let that one pass to the
And I tell you what, you can't get away here then. We're going to take a break right here on Iron Sports, and when you come back, more with Mrs. Marva Bernard, who is now head of the Americas Netball Associations.